And we're live. What's going on, everyone? This is Papa Joe, the Papa Joe Show, where Papa Joe knows. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Glad you guys are all here. So, I'm having the worst time with my cameras, microphones. So, if I sound awful, if I look awful, don't worry, I'm going to get it fixed. So, something's going on with that. I can't tell if it's my computer, if it's the camera not feeding in appropriately, or if there's an update or a patch or something. Maybe I haven't missed something somewhere. So I do genuinely apologize if it doesn't look or sound good. Gotta have that coffee. It's been one of those days. So thanks for coming today. I appreciate it. Let's see what I was gonna talk about today. I'm a little scatterbrained. Right before the show, the camera decided to just say, "Yep, I'm not gonna show anything." So yeah, that's been fun. I gotta go figure out what that is. But anyways, so yeah, what's going on out there in the crypto world? It looks like things are coming down a little bit. Looks like we have multiple different aspects that are kind of having fun with that. Really, it looks like it's just a good, healthy profit taking to me. People are generally looking at it bouncing off that $50 or $50,000 range, and it's more psychological once it got to that point. I think that we'll see it kind of continue to rise up a lot more as we progress here towards the end of the year. Reason I think that is just because of the amount of institutional money coming into this. You had a lot of information going on, or information coming out about big players moving massive amounts of money around. And here, I'll share my screen. You can kind of see. Let's see here. This might work here. All right, so cool. So $500 million in Ethereum got moved around amid the actual market pullback. So we don't know. There's no way to tell if that's going to come out of the market, if it's going to go into another asset, but it's moving, right? These people have tremendous amounts of value stored, purchasing power stored into the crypto market. I know there's a lot of people out there who would say, "Hey, we're coming down, we're coming down, we're coming down. Get ready, that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." But look, this is a long-term hold, folks. This is how we, as humanity, my theme here is blockchain equals freedom for humanity. Okay, so when you got major institutions, major players pulling and moving that kind of money around, that's signaling to me, who's been in this since late 2011, that you've got major players, that this is not going anywhere. This is going mainstream. All right. So one of the other pieces here, what did I do with it? Oh, so lending more credence to Ethereum 2.0. I'm just going to give you my opinion about Ethereum 2.0. They've been working on this thing for like 4 years now. Probably longer. Their point is they're trying to move into a proof of stake environment, and they're kind of getting there, but they're not. They're taking way too long. You've got Cardano, who's chopping at the bits right at their heels. You got EOS, who can already do everything that Ethereum 2.0 is doing. You've got other smart contract platforms like Polygon or formerly Matic, who have the capability to take everything Ethereum and make it work with other stuff. They're basically, if you understand what IoT is, or Internet of Things, they're a blockchain of things, or a blockchain of blockchains. So they can bridge the gap between pretty much any environment, doing or any project, any blockchain to any other blockchain. So I think that Ethereum long-term 2.0 may end up becoming something that they end up successfully doing. Short-term, they're going to have to fight the miners. It's an uphill battle. All right. The miners are getting a reward, and they like that reward. I have a lot of very upset people. But the cool part is I'm a former miner. Well, no, I still mine, actually, but I don't I used to have a small data center footprint, and I was never a major miner or anything like that. But I did have a pretty good, decent size operation running at one point. But miners, they don't like you taking that kind of stuff from them. They've invested a lot of time, effort, energy in setting up their operations, and it's important to remember that they have been running your environment, Ethereum. They've been running it for you. And you've rewarded them, but you're going to pull the rug out from underneath them and say they have to go somewhere. They have to start staking and stuff like that. Cool, that's fine. It's more energy efficient, whatever. But you got to have an uphill battle with them. Nobody likes the rug being pulled out from underneath them. So Ethereum, I think, may end up doing a fork, like a hard fork, in order to actually continue the miners running one direction and the proof of stake running another direction. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but at the end of the day, I think that we as the consumers of these products or the users of these platforms, we kind of have a say-so in that as well. And this kind of goes back to the miners having a say-so. If you want to know what the next big coin is, not necessarily Bitcoin is, figure out where the miners are going to go next. Right? So if Ethereum turns off mining, that's a lot of mining power that's not going to sit there running idle. They're not going to throw it away. They've invested too much. So what are they going to start mining next? And with the graphics card mining, or Ethereum is a graphics card mining blockchain. They're getting a little technical here for you guys. Graphics cards and processors, they're both processing units. You hear the CPU when you look at a laptop or a computer to go by, and you see graphics card or GPU. Those mean different things to different people. A CPU is a multi-threaded or primarily point-to-point calculation. So input, output, input, output. A graphics card is a floating point calculations. Those effectively are completely randomized calculations that when you put the calculation in to be processed, it can do it in multiple different ways and try to find the solution to output the actual answer. So floating points allow miners to point those graphics cards at any other coin. I mean, you can actually any coin, really. Whether it's efficient or not, that's a different discussion. You could actually take a graphics card and mine Bitcoin, but you aren't going to get any Bitcoin. You're literally going to burn the card out before you'll end up ever getting Bitcoin. It's just, it'll run, it'll say it's mining, but you'll never get a return on it. So if Ethereum is successful with Ethereum 2.0, full on out, the miners are going to go somewhere else. If you can figure out what coin that is, go, or maybe a good guess, go grab it while you can, because the miners are going to go after it soon too. So shifting gears a little bit here, look at Cardano. Cardano being an Ethereum competitor, in my opinion. They're launching their smart contract platforms. But this move on their part, in my opinion, I don't know if I like it or not. I get it, compliance is important. But the blockchain is already a self-regulated system. It already is a self-regulating platform. They actually want to work with the Financial Action Task Force to make sure that they protect anyone who uses their blockchain from any money laundering or anything like that. Again, I get that, but this is not that type of environment. Blockchain is a self-regulating system. This is just so that the big boys, we'll call it the big boys, the governments, the local municipalities, etc., will use Cardano because it's regulated under their paperwork. Reason I'm not sure about this is because you're just giving them what they want. You're letting the old system still have its clutches on the new system. If that's what the goal is with Cardano, cool. And that's fine. And maybe it'll be successful. But people who've been in this for the longest, like myself, we look at that and we go, yeah, I don't know. Why'd you do that? You know, there's not a reason to go do that, other than maybe you want governments to use your stuff. Fine, but you need to make them. We're more than them. If you look at a chart of control in the world, the governments, they're so small compared to the massive amount of humanity that we are. We are more than them. We should dictate, and according to the Constitution of the United States, they get their power derived from the consent of the governed. We're the governed. We decide what they can or can't do. We're the boss, not them. But we'll get to more in that in my Patreon show. So click the link, and I'll switch back to it for you guys. Not click the link, but it is in the description. Click the link in the description. Join my Patreon. We talk more about stuff like that. Go over the Constitution, go over the laws, go over the regulations, and my personal take on this, and where I think we'll end up going and what we'll end up doing going forward. Join the Patreon. It's worth it. And as I get more established, this is my first week, folks. So as I get more established doing these things, I'm going to start adding more content to my Patreon show and maybe different levels for different reasons, depending on what takes place with a few of the projects I'm working on. I may give access into those projects or go into depth into those projects on the Patreon show, and you won't want to miss those. You really won't. Some of the stuff I'm working on will be very beneficial for people from a financial perspective. Let's just put it that way. So I'm not going to go into that on here, but join the Patreon. It's worth it. So jumping back here, what was the other thing I want to kind of discuss here? So Polkadot is trying to help Ethereum solve their 2.0 problems. You know who else is? Polygon. Right. Polygon is one of my personal favorites in the realm of multi-chain or bridging or cross-chain communication and platforms. The reason being is because they were VC funded. They're actually VC funded by Coinbase. They have a really good team behind them. Sorry, coffee's causing some indigestion there. And yet I'm going to have more of it because, well, my brain doesn't function very well without it. But anyways, it kind of helps me focus. I think it helps everybody focus. But anyways, Polkadot's kind of doing the same thing. They're kind of doing that multi-chain type of decentralization for Ethereum. And that's fantastic. I think that the more partnerships between these different blockchains, the better. It allows more collaborative cross ecosystem communication. It allows different businesses, let's say a retailer, let's say a supplier, let's say a vendor, to use one platform because, well, they like it the most, and interact and communicate with another company who's on an entirely different platform. Because this is something a lot of people don't understand about blockchains, and this is maybe a limitation that platforms like Polkadot, platforms like Cardano, platforms like, all the R-Chain is another one. They basically bridge that gap between the two, because blockchains, once you build on a blockchain, it can't communicate with another blockchain. You have to build a communication or a bridge between the two. And I think that is, I think that's actually a pretty fantastic partnership, we'll call it, between the different platforms. So let's see. I think that at the end of the day, that we're going to see a consortium It's a big word for this type of stuff. A consortium between different blockchains. I think you're going to say a consortium with different retailers, different companies using blockchain. And that's kind of goes back to why I started my company, Astra Blockchain Consulting. I won't have any of the special graphics right now because my camera system decided to say, you didn't want to do anything today. So Astra Blockchain Consulting, we work with businesses to build out actual blockchain use cases. Some of my customers want help with NFTs. Some of my customers want help standing up financial portfolios from a standpoint of I have a project I'm working on right now that I think you guys would really like, and I'm going to talk about it on the Patreon show. Not yet, but soon. So go ahead and sign up there for sure. Let's see here. Dwight, is cross-chain a security risk? From all the research I've done and testing that I've done, no. It is allows one chain to communicate with another chain. So you think about chain codes being your underlying database or your underlying compute that's decentralized and distributed. It gives the capability for, let's say, SAP having a transaction taking place on one blockchain, and you have a supply chain that's taking transactions and running on a different chain. On both of those, they have API layers, and on top of that, they have web layers or other integration layers. Say you want SSO with your company, or you want to integrate with some kind of monitoring or anything like that. And then you'll have another layer on top of that that's like your web browser that you can actually pull up like a web host or something like a dashboard, excuse me, sorry, to see what's taking place underneath. But on that chain code level, if you want, say, SAP and whatever your supply chain, if you want to be able to read what's coming out of the supply chain into SAP, you need some kind of cross-chain platform. The reason I say it in that scenario is because there are blockchains that are specifically made for processing payment transactions or invoicing. I think Populous is a really good example of that. And then there are blockchains like Hyperledger Fabric or like EOS, or like I'd even say Hedera could probably work with this. They're more enterprise type blockchains specifically for maybe using a your supply chain on those type of platforms. You would want those to communicate with each other, and doing a cross-chain bridge between the two actually makes a big difference for that. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it's not too technical. If you want to talk through that a little more, join the Patreon. You can communicate to me there. I am on Telegram. I'm considering setting up a private Telegram for the Patreon. I know that Bitcoin Ben's done that, and just so that y'all can communicate with me on an easier, more direct method more than anything. I think that may be helpful for everything going forward. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. Basically, at the end of the day, kind of like my graphic here, Bitcoin is greater than the dollar. The dollar is paper. The $100 bill and the $50 bill, the $10 bill, and the $20 bill, they all cost the same to create. The only denomination on it is the dollar number there, and that is what it is. And because somebody else said it was that value. They've printed too much. They've blown the bubble up too much. It's about to burst. You can't blow a balloon up forever. It will blow. There's no different than what they're doing right now. And they're trying to pass this stupid infrastructure bill right now. And that is going to cause waves, not just in the realm of the economy, but it's going to hit the person at home, right? You're not going to be able to go to the store and buy that box of cereal or that loaf of bread or that tomato or whatever. If you haven't noticed, those have gone up significantly with what they've already done. The more they keep printing this, the more they keep blowing this up, it is going to explode. The economy is going to implode. Think about the housing market right now. People are paying cash for houses, and I know this is it's near and dear to my heart. Is We've been looking for a home for a while, and people are paying cash, sight unseen, because they're leaving places like New York, New Jersey, California. They want to come to states that have lower taxes, less regulation around your day-to-day life, and in the locations they're coming from, they can sell those houses, come here and pay cash for the houses down here, because those houses are $3, $4, $5 million now, and people are buying and selling those houses like crazy, and they're coming down here and they're buying a nice house, or they're going to Texas, or they're going to Florida, or they're going somewhere else, and they're buying a house sight unseen, paying cash for it, and they're taking the remainder of that and they're buying these nice fancy cars, paying cash for those, and they're like, this is great, debt-free life, boom, and that's fine. But people like me and other people who want to stay in the different states that we're in, want to enjoy life where we're at, like, it's like, oh my word. Anyways, the housing market is a direct correlation. The prices of the houses are direct correlations to the amount of money that they're printing. And you got to understand that the more they print, the higher the house values will go. Also, you got to remember the interest rates. My wife is really good with this, and I'm probably going to mess this up, sweetie, so I'm sorry. But there's a ratio between interest rate and the value of the home. And I think it's every percentage point that the interest rates go down, the home values go up, I think, by 20%. It's probably wrong on that, but then again, it could be wrong. But every interest rate point that the house's values or the interest rates go up, the home values decrease by about 20%. So you're still going to end up paying the same. You're not going to change the amount you're paying. You're going to pay that range. With good credit, I think it's like $2,000 to $3,000 for a $300,000 to $500,000 home, somewhere in that ballpark. It's been a long time since I've looked at any of those numbers, but you got to think about that's what the banks want you to do, right? With fractional reserve banking, you deposit your money, and then they lend out 90% of that money, and they double it 90%. Read The Creature from Jekyll Island. I said it yesterday. You need to read The Creature from Jekyll Island. It is well worth it. It is a history and an education that we don't get in schools. It's not taught in high school. It's not taught anywhere. You've got to read that book. So, with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it today for this one. I will be doing a Patreon show today at 4:30 Eastern. So please join the Patreon. And we'll go into, I have some things I really on my heart. There's some stuff that's going on in the world, and things that I see taking place that's starting to hit home for a lot of people. And I kind of want to, everyone's thinking it and nobody's saying it. So I'm going to say some stuff. So let's put it that way. Join the Patreon. It's $5 a month. The only reason to do the $5 a month is to keep the trolls out. So, but anyways, yeah, like, subscribe, share this video, share my channel out as much as you guys desire. I greatly appreciate it no matter what. Yeah, you guys have a blessed day, and let me know if you need anything. Have a good day.